friends. It's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's Marlin. It's the citywide special. The Phillies win 2 of 3 against the Padres after dropping a series against the Brewers. Kyle Schwarber continues to mash dingers, while Bryce Harper shaves his beard to stave off a slump. While the Phils hold on to their top wildcard spot, the Chicago Cubs have closed the gap to just a game and a half. The team returns home Friday for a series against the Marlins. The Eagles begin their 2023 season this Sunday against the New England Patriots. Can the Birds start off with a win and spoil Tom Brady's special day? The Sixers signed back veteran Danny Green. With the roster seemingly complete, what can we expect from this year's squad? Can the Sixers withstand yet another period of high drama as James Harden remains a reluctant member of the team? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Hot, swampy day in Philadelphia, but great to be back. Had a really good weekend for Labor Day weekend. My best friend Pat got engaged, so shout out Pat Morgan.
Yeah, shout out Pat Morgan.
Him and his beautiful fiancée Anna, so that wedding will be TBD, but very excited for him. So that was the first good news of the weekend, but then the heat is definitely putting a little damper on everything for sure, making me lucky that we don't have an Eagles game this Thursday night, which is great. So I don't mind waiting for that one. But other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, the heat's on, yo. I'm doing well. I survived the great fall of Labor Day weekend 2023. Got a little banged up, a little busted up. So it happens when you're in mid-30s and you try to turn the clock back 10 years. But hey, it's a hot one.
Your dancing shoes weren't working?
No, it wasn't the dancing shoes. It was the
walking shoes.
The walking
up with
shoes.
several beverages shoes. So
Yeah.
they ain't what they used to be.
Those are the shoes that'll get you.
But yo, Marlon, how you doing? Welcome back. Our first two-time returning guest.
Yeah, our boomerang guest.
It is too hot, but it's good to be back with you fellas. And in my opinion, when the Phillies are good, the Eagles expected to be good. This is the best time of year, even if it is too hot.
Big time. You got a beautiful jersey on, too, with the B-Dog, Kelly Green.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, it's almost like, to your point, when the Phillies are good and the Eagles are expected to be good, the Sixers and just the sideshow and all the drama kind of just don't exist.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I have not really had to think about it, which is nice. I have plenty of other things to think about.
Yeah, like, you guys Smashmouth fans?
Oh, yeah, R.I.P.
Should we pour one out for homie?
Yeah. I'm not going to pour out a whole one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, I feel like he poured enough out for himself. That's why we're in this situation. Oh, man. But dude, my first CD I ever bought was Astro Lounge.
I figured you were a Smashmouth fan. It was hard to be a kid growing up in the 90s and not like All-Star.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think like 5th grade was when that came out.
Something like that. We were in 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that video that was going around for a while of him. I guess it was his last ever performance at Smashmouth.
Yeah, that beer and wine fest.
Yeah, he was officially kicked out of the band after that. Or he's like on stage being like, "I swear I'll kill your whole fucking family."
But he also told a fan like in the front row, he was like, "If I was better at masturbating, I'd never leave my house."
Yeah.
Yeah, my man's just disassociating mid-song when he's supposed to be singing. Like, I know the lyrics.
He's like, "Shut up, I'm the singer." Yeah. Good times. Well, yeah, R.I.P. to him. Watch your alcohol consumption, everybody. It's something that we always try to preach here on the Citywide Special.
Yeah, you can clearly tell if you're watching on video.
Those bottles are from a long period. We didn't accumulate those overnight.
A week.
Unlike, right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for Homie and Smashmouth, that probably is maybe a night or two.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
the 99 bananas might stretch it a little bit, but
yeah, you probably could at least afford something a little nicer. I think. Still making those residual checks from Shrek and all that.
Oh, big time.
Oh, he wasn't. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like that
was our whole theme song.
Well, I think it was originally like the music video for All Star is like a sort of a cross promotional thing with the movie Mystery Men. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Because that was like, it came out at the same time, was put in that movie. And then it's just, got put in a bunch of other movies.
Well, then Shrek culture became a thing, and now it's like, it's
and they did the Monkeys cover for Shrek.
Oh, that's right.
That's what that was. Yeah, know a lot of Smashmouth history over here.
Yeah, clearly. Are you still a fan? Or I guess you can't.
I did buy
You can
one of
still
their.
be a fan.
I did buy one of their later albums like a few years ago because it had this one like kind of decent reggae song on it, so that's why I bought it. And I think it had like Rankin Roger was featured on it, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, I think that was just about it for Smash Mouth.
Well, they're clearly at the end of their careers, at least as that band.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, they had been touring without the guy.
Oh,
so I don't know. They're still keeping it going.
It's like having a spare tire fall off your car. You know, you can still go, but the backups are running low.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, they're got to be like pretty old now, anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't
imagine.
be.
He was 56, I think.
Yeah, you can't be like 60 years old playing All-Star, I wouldn't think.
I don't know.
I mean, you probably can. It's just a different. I mean, it's
What 60-year-old is an All-Star at anything? It's like, I
don't
know we probably have some 60-year-olds that listen. No disrespect to 60-year-olds.
well, judging by the Russian hockey league, I'm sure Putin is probably always an all-star. And he's north of 60.
He straps on the
I don't
pads
think he's
once in a
allowed
while.
to be anything but an all-star over there.
I remember there was this one, I think it was some like African country had like their like president demanded to be put on the national team.
Hell yeah.
And they got like inserted into a game, and it was just like the funniest thing you've ever seen. Just this
It's
like guy who's
dictator.
probably like 65 years old trying to play with a bunch of like 22-year-olds and shit. Yeah, that's always fun, letting old tyrants play.
Yeah, go for it. It's like the movie Dictator panning out in real life.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, how do we want to jump
I'm
into
good.
this?
Yeah,
Dan?
well,
What's top on the docket here?
I
let's
guess
start
we
with
can
the
start with the
Phils.
Phils.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just saw them cap
Hey.
off their series with the Padres. Nice win there. Another good day for Wheeler. I almost called him Chris Wheeler. I almost said Chris Wheeler. Yeah, he's doing really great. Yeah, and that's a guy who's a very old all-star.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean,
Probably listen to Wheels.
yeah, Wheels was great. Sarge, when they had Sarge in the booth for alumni weekend, Sarge can still tell a story. So yeah, I guess there are some senior all-stars. I'm sorry, 60-year-olds. No disrespect once again.
But yeah,
Will you
Zach
save us?
Wheeler, another very good game. He looks like he's in playoff form, about where he wanted him to be. Aaron Nola is a very different story. He has another clunker of a game.
Total up and down for him.
I guess that was Saturday.
Yeah, you called it first, right? Remember we were at the Oscars? We were at the Oscars on Saturday.
Oh, you tried to call me out with somebody else that was out at the bar.
Remember that? No, first you and me started complaining about Nola when we were at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
And you start getting worked up. You're like, fuck Nola. Then you go outside to smoke. And this guy like starts getting feisty with you, right? So then Nola gives up like 3 or 4 runs, and I turn around. I had your back. I was like, where's that Aaron Nola apologist?
Damn.
He like sheepishly raises his hand. I'm like, you ain't got nothing to say now, huh?
At least he raised his hand, though. I appreciate
He
that.
was like kind of embarrassed to do it, but he did do it.
Listen, I respect
you
that
gotta
at
stick
least.
to your guns,
We called it. I mean, we praised him last week. I'll be the first to admit it. I was like, dude, it felt good to have Nola's confidence back. But, again, key word here, consistency. My man, I don't know what it is. His mojo was there for a second, and now it's out the window. They had a good bounce back game today. Hoffman looked good today, too.
Jeff Hoffman's been killing it, dude.
He put himself
Uncle
in a
Jeff.
hole. Yeah, put himself in a hole and had a great little comeback there. So the bullpen itself has looked good, but Nola is Nola. I mean, you're going to get games where he's your ace, and you're going to get games where you're scratching your head like, what the fuck is up with this guy? So I don't know. Nothing to it. But that was great. Yeah, shout out Oscars, a great bar in Center City, Philly. But, yeah, called that punk out, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, that entire series against the Brewers, like...
Tough.
Yeah. They're like we said going into it. I think I said last week, I was kind of nervous about that series just because the Phillies have had this success, right? But most of it's been at home.
Yeah.
The Brewers are a good team, especially at home. And they got some arms. They got some pitchers. Granted, the pitchers weren't really what did in that first game. It was the fielding and the bullpen.
Yeah, that game
kinda let us
Friday,
down, yeah.
that was brutal. Trey Turner hits a 3-run home run to take
Yeah.
the lead in the 8th, and
And then
Ball goes
Alvarado,
right
I think, was it?
I think Alvarado started walking guys,
Mhm.
and then there was that ball down the third base line. Should have been the end of the inning, and then goes right under Alec Boehm's glove. Sometimes you kind of forget that he's still like kind of an average third baseman. Like he comes up with some big plays once in a while, but there's a reason why like he's
still the guy who
not exactly considered a Gold Glover.
Still the guy who fucking hated it here a while ago.
Yeah, but it also probably doesn't help that he's getting bounced around the first base every 4 games.
That's true.
Like he can't really develop as a stout. We don't have a true first or third baseman, honestly, and that definitely shows. I mean,
yeah.
Whoever we have as a patch job,
hodgepodge on the corners.
He's a better. Yeah, it's tough that way to be able to pin a guy for development that way, but his bat's been great. Fielding is always okay, but when you got Stott and Trey Turner in the middle now playing phenomenal defense, you don't feel so bad at, them messing up here and there. But, tough series. We knew we had that stretch at home for a minute. They were hitting, almost 5 home runs a game. We knew they were due to slow down, but not a terrible series against Milwaukee. Would have loved to win that series, but they got one. And they just finished off a winning series here against, the Padres. So I always think of that stupid-ass fucking song that they did in the playoffs, and I always makes me laugh when we beat them in a series.
Manny's gonna cruise. Bryce is gonna lose. That's what's
That
in.
shit cracks me the fuck.
I definitely had to go back and watch that.
Especially when the one guy's like, slow down, you're going too fast. And they have to like dude, this is
like
so fucking corny.
Barbershop quartet. Like, those are definitely some 6-year-old guys who are not all-stars.
Not
Oh,
all-stars.
dude, they're bench warmers, man.
No, they're
they're in the
AAA.
minor leagues.
Yeah.
Same guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we'll see.
Can't have sports in San Diego. It's not a sports town. It's not going to happen.
Did anyone else hear? I think it was like the 6th inning today. There was a very audible, like boomingly loud EAGLES.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was listening to the radio
yeah.
feed and that got picked up.
So I
Hell
guess
yeah.
we got more fans there than they do. But
Yeah.
I mean, probably. I
Big time.
remember we play the the Rams or the. I guess I don't even know if we've had a game against the Chargers in LA since they moved there, but I know we played the Rams.
I think we did.
At the
we
old
had one
stadium.
the first year.
Yeah,
It's when Carson Wentz blew his ACL out.
Well,
That
no,
was the
that's against the
Rams.
Rams. We did have one against the Chargers, I think, that year too, though.
yeah,
Like
man.
Aaron Blunt ran all over him.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, those games are always feel like home games.
But yeah, that first game, I guess, Labor Day, Monday, dude, it felt like a Phillies home game. Whenever the Phillies would do something, I hear the crowd cheering for us. It was like audible Phillies fans. And like, whenever San Diego would do something, the crowd was not half as loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't give a damn about the Padres, man. Such an annoying team, annoying franchise. I'm glad they've disappointed immensely this year.
Shitty colors.
Yeah, after they signed Xander Bogaerts and all this stuff, they were supposed to be. I think I heard him say on the broadcast today that entering the season, their playoff odds were like 85%. The only team in the NL that was higher was the Braves, and now they're at less than 1%.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, fuck them. But the Phillies come home, We're playing, the Marlins up this weekend?
Yeah. Marlins
Funny enough,
back at home.
Marlins back.
Yeah.
We play the Marlins now in Philly. It's kind of funny.
They stole my name, by the way. I was born before that team was founded.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That would make sense. They were, 94, 93?
Something like that.
Yeah, they did steal your name. Yo,
And they won a World Series in 4 years.
you got to sue
With
them,
Darren Dalton.
dude.
I should.
You got to go for their ass. But so a couple things I had, right? So Harper, you mentioned he shaved his beard because he was 0 for 16.
Yeah, my man looks weird.
Yeah.
He looks odd,
I was
man.
saying he looks like his name's Chaz Harper.
Like they were talking
Damn.
about on the broadcast last night, he looks like Bryce Harper in 2012. It's like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he
He looks like significantly older.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, some people you get to a certain age and it's like you just kind of have to have facial hair. Or you look kind of weird, and I guess I think Bryce Harper might be one of those people.
Yeah.
I feel like the tandem between that and then Trey Turner going on for the paternity league too is like, damn, this is some kind of fucked up anti-mojo shit happening right now. Like the dude had a 7-game home run streak, was doing great. Now he's away. Does he come back and have a fucking shitty run? I mean, potentially. He's
his
a very
momentum might be off.
yeah. He's clearly a big.
Bring the baby in the dugout. Just have him. You can do both at the same time. I think they only get 3 days or something.
Yeah, I think he has to come back
Yeah,
Friday.
but
Good, man. Kiss the baby on the head. Make sure it is crying and awake, and get back in the fucking.
parental leave is.
We're not paying
really
you $300 million to be a dad. We're paying you $300 million to play baseball just until the end of the season. Then you got all summer to be a dad.
Would you see that apparently it's been like when he had this baby, it was about 9 months after his deal with the Phillies was announced. So
hell yeah,
doing a little celebrating once you got that contract.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Knows he's got $300 million coming. He'll be able to take good care of that kid.
Hello, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I was listening to. Well, I wasn't voluntarily, but like I fell asleep last night with the game on the radio on WIP. Like I woke up, it was a little after 1. The game had ended, and this WIP caller was screaming about how whoever the host was, I think Jody McDonald, I don't remember. But whoever the host was, the caller was screaming at him because he wasn't giving Trey Turner enough shit for not being there at the game because his son was, or kid, I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, his kid was being born. It's like, you should be giving him a hard time because he wasn't there.
Yeah, you knew after a loss, someone was going to be that guy, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, I happened to wake up at the
sure
perfect
Pat
moment.
It was like, was his name Pat from South Philly?
Yeah.
I happened to wake up at the perfect moment just to
me.
hear this call, and I was like, all right, I want to roll over and go back to bed, but I got to hear this.
That's
The
hysterical.
guy was just giving the host so much business. Like, we need Trey Turner. It's like, yeah, but
Hey,
you
fuck his
don't
family.
think his wife and his kid need him right now? Like, get a grip, dude.
That's hysterical. I think I was busy that day. I don't think that was me calling, but close. They start going into it. If he goes into a slump this weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll hear
Oh,
it.
man, yeah. If he, like, comes back and just goes back to just looking like first half of the year Trey Turner, it's going to be like... But, it seems like, historically speaking, a lot of players, once they have kids, they get that, like, that dad strength,
that's a
that dad
thing.
energy. They start playing real good. So we'll see.
In like an off-season kid, I feel like Embiid had the whole summer with the kid. He had time to actually appreciate it and then play like an MVP. Where I feel like mid-season at the peak of playoff performance, I feel like
It seems like you should plan, when you know that you're going to have 3-4 months off, you should kind of just plan it to... But, I mean, hey... Maybe it wasn't expected.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just happens.
true.
Man.
We don't know their whole
Yeah.
details. They could have had issues or whatever, but
Yeah.
$300 million put that out the window, so that maybe they weren't thinking about it.
Do you guys think if Brandon Marsh hit a cold streak, is he more likely to shave his giant beard or to just come out with dry hair?
I don't think you could ever do dry hair.
Yeah,
Maybe he would
that's
just
a good question.
maybe he would just shave his balls. I bet you his balls are probably super hairy too.
He shaves the rest of his body
Yeah.
except his head.
Shit you can't
Yeah.
see.
He's just... Yeah, his chest and everything, just completely,
His
like...
back,
We're
his
gonna
butt.
cancel out every other hairy option. The dude's probably built like a Neanderthal everywhere else.
He's
hair-wise.
gotta be, dude.
Yeah. It would be funny though if his balls did have a giant ass beard too, like they just split down the pants. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're gonna shave one beard, what are you gonna shave? Probably the ball beard.
Yeah.
The
Gotta
less
be.
visible
Yes.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
He's
yeah,
a little bit.
like people, it's people wouldn't know, so that wouldn't have attention drawn to it, like Harper's thing. But you would know.
Right, he would know. Probably runs a little bit quicker. You know,
Yeah,
just like little
lighter.
details.
Little
Less
lighter.
Just a little lighter.
aerodynamism.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't imagine him ever getting rid of the wet hair. It would be funny, if he just shaves like the top of his head, but he keeps like the kind of like
Oh, God.
long in the bottom,
Rocks a skullet.
Ew.
just enough so he's got a little, so he can keep that long shit
Man.
wet in the back.
Yo, you can't rock. No one should ever rock a skullet.
Yeah,
Oh man,
that's like
Like, if you're balding, just shave it all, man. You can't be bald with a
Right.
little mullet on the bottom. That just
or
looks
start
wrong.
selling meth because that's what you look like. Like that's honestly what it is right there.
What
Oh
about
God,
someone who's bald with a rat tail? No.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
That don't
Those are
work.
all like I'm gonna move to the other side of the train haircuts.
Right.
Like, you see the
For
guy-
real.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure he's nice, but I'm not taking any chances.
but he definitely puts wild turkey in his coffee. Like I'm not.
Yeah, my man woke up and smoked a pack of Marlboros.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yo, I guess one of the things that I was thinking watching mostly that, like, the Brewer series in that first game is how concerned are y'all about the pitching? Last week we mentioned Kimbrel, I believe. But
Yeah, a little
clearly
bit. I
issues
mean-
more than just Kimbrel right now.
Yeah, I mean Alvarado's been a little shaky since he's been back. Kind of walking a lot. Like, I mean, that game against the Brewers, I think he ended up walking the bases loaded. He just like could not find the strike zone at all. It was just, he ends up like walking some guy that was like their like 8-hole hitter, like, it was Alvarado throws like 100 miles an hour. Like you you just challenge a guy like that and try to blow it by him, but you just could not find the zone. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like I'm confident in all their abilities. It's just a matter of if they get hot at the right time. So hopefully, I mean, the bats are good right now. I'm a little like worried that by the time October rolls around, the bats are going to kind of like peter down, and maybe we're like peaking too soon. But I don't know. It's just the nature of the playoffs. It's just kind of a dice roll with what's going to be working at the right time. We'll see.
I don't know about the two things there. I think the bats, like, I mean, obviously the threat of them peaking too soon that way is always looming, right? You don't want to. They're not going to hit 60 home runs, whatever they hit in the month of October or whatever it is coming up for playoffs. But the lack of home runs at the beginning of the season kind of made this seem even more impactful. Like, now they're finally starting to hit. But had they been hitting more, day to day and doing fine, it probably wouldn't be a big deal. I don't see the bats slowing down so much as the pitching. I don't know. I mean, you're going to play. We got lucky last year. We had all that good mojo going. We were at home. That clearly, whenever they were home, they're good to go. But I think that the bats will stay as they are and still be consistent and good to go. Hopefully, Trey Turner comes back and is at least half as good as he was before the kid. But I'm sure he'll be the same. I mean, the guy's been riding high. Now he's got a kid. He's been having the best stretch he's had since he's been in Philly. Like, I'm sure vibes are going great in his head, hopefully. I think, though, that Philly's coming back home to Citizens Bank Park, knowing that they have the playoffs here at home for most of the games in the beginning, at least, when you're playing lower seeds for, hopefully, the first series. That'll be the reset game to be like, all right, like, we're good to go. This team's experienced. Everybody that has a good day when they win, they're like, we're one step closer to be back, in Philadelphia in October, in late September for the playoffs. Like, I don't think that it's anything to be too concerned about. And I kind of had that same sentiment, I think, last week, too, about just kind of not getting too low when it gets low and not getting too high when it gets too high right now. But that's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, you were there last week. Like, you kind of said, not to worry about it. Yeah, I was with you for the most part, but a couple things like we talked about Nola. Lorenzen, man.
Yeah, he's looked bad since that no-hitter.
1-2 with an 8.14 ERA, 32 hits, 9 walks, 6 homers, and 21 innings. Some of that last night was they didn't have anyone else, so they were just like, all right, man, you got to take one for the team. But he still hasn't really looked great. And then Soto, this is on the season for him. He's got a 5.05 ERA with a 1.22 walks hits per innings pitched and 0.7 home runs per 9. He's given up a home run at least almost every 8 or 9 appearances. You can't have that in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, Soto's a guy that, I remember at the beginning of the year thinking, like, damn, we have, like, a fucking, like, murder's row of a bullpen now. We've got Soto and Alvarado and Kimbrel, all these guys. And I know, like, first half of the year, I feel like he was pitching a lot better than his numbers suggested. Like, his underlying stats were pretty good, even though his ERA was not so good. But, yeah, he just has not really seemed like the kind of dominant bullpen arm that you thought you were getting. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say I'm mildly concerned. Like, you have to kind of hope that guys like Jeff Hoffman, assuming you end up moving Chris Sanchez to the bullpen at some point, Sir Anthony's looked a little better. Kimbrel didn't look great the other night, but he looked a little better. You have to hope that down the stretch you can get these guys the appropriate amount of rest. Kind of what I was saying last week. That they can kind of be a little better, but I don't know.
Yeah, but also
I'm skeptical.
The way it's going now, like, I don't know if they are going to be able to give anyone any rest because the Cubs are only a game and a half behind us, and that first spot's pretty crucial. We want to get that series at home. So yeah, I don't know.
Playoffs start this weekend then. Like, they got to get their shit together. They're back at home. They always preach that they play better at home. So hey, best way to get back on top is to sweep the fucking Marlins, which they should do. But again, with the Marlins,
always give us trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know what it is with this team.
I do think this is like the first series in a while against them, and we're not going to have to face Alcantara, even though we usually play well against him for whatever weird reason. But
I could just see him blowing them out the first game, like a 12-3 kind of game, and then losing 2-0 to them the second game, and then you win the series, which is great. But like, it's a team that come on, man. Like, you should be able to you beat bad teams. And, like, you should be able to sweep even worse teams. And the Marlins aren't in any, like, you got them. You should be able to just do your job.
Yeah, I mean, they're still kind of in wild card contention. They're not as bad as they've been in past years. But, yeah, still, like, to your point, they should be able to win easily 2 out of 3. It'd be great if they could sweep the Marlins. Even if we aren't facing Alcantara, still have some arms. I think we've seen earlier this year. Arias isn't going to hit 400, but the dude's still hitting like 360. They're still kind of a threat. But yeah, at home, where the Phillies have been killing it, you would think that they should be able to win. They should be able to sweep.
If they play. I mean, it could be almost every game could get rained out this weekend. Ominous. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
I mean, every Friday. Look, honestly, going to Tuesday is calling for rain now. So, who knows?
Might be a wet weekend.
Oh.
But yeah, I guess, Trevor, to the point you had made, the Cubs are right on our heels, man. Since the All-Star break, the Cubs are 34-17, yo. That's the best in the MLB. Like, by like a few games. I think that's like 3 games better than the Braves when I looked it up today. Yeah. I don't think that's including their win today. The Phillies, since the All-Star break, are 28-21, so not bad. Like, 5.5 games behind them, but that 5.5 games is a big difference. Cubs have a 101 run differential. Ours is like, after today, probably like 82. So, like, they're a good team.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, definitely not a team that I thought you were going to have to worry about.
They were ass in the first half.
Yeah. Cody Bellinger, man. He's like...
Should have traded for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're good.
Yeah, just got to keep winning series. Their schedule is a little harder than ours. They got 6 against Arizona, who's kind of like the Marlins on the fringe of wildcard contention. They still got 3 against the Braves. Like, end of the year, the Braves might have already clinched, but hopefully they still have something to play for. And then they got 3 against the Brewers, which, like, that's their main competition for the Central. Those are going to be tightly contested. So their schedule's a little harder. I think the Phillies only have the series against the Marlins and the series against the Braves. Everyone else is well below 500. But I think it's going to come down to the wire. I don't really like it.
All you can do is look ahead, but, I mean, I feel like the Phillies have played better once they are kind of backs against the wall. When they have a big lead with everything, they usually slip a little bit, and then they slip a little bit more. You're like, well, at least we're still 4.5 games ahead, or 3.5 games ahead, where when they get down 1.5, 1 game, whatever, someone's trumping a bit, they'll put it together. I mean, the team, they're playing kind of below the class, like below where they should be for what our expectations were for the beginning of the year to begin with. So I think that this is all on them. I mean, they have a chance to finish the deal and play a pretty weak schedule. They had a weak schedule all last month, and they dominated. They did their job then.
Yeah.
But September's a new month. Reset. You started off a little shaky. You had a really good series and stuff like that with the Brewers, and that kind of punched you in the mouth. You got back a little bit with San Diego. Let's get back on track here in September. Hit some dingers. Have the bullpen get back right. We'll be all set to go. You can't control what the Cubs do. The Cubs, kudos to them, having a great, second half of the year, fantastic. But the Phillies, not for nothing, woke up too. I mean, we might not be top 2 in the league or number 1 in the league in terms of record, but looking at this team, it is a visibly different, more aggressive. They're coming out to hit some runs and strike you out a lot. So let's just hope that they can control what they can control, and that's what's just right in front of them.
Just need Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run every single game, I think.
He just broke J-Roll's record for most
leadoff
home runs in a
season. Yeah, another one today.
The guy can't really do anything else, but the guy's got 41 home runs. So,
I'll take it. That's my kind of guy.
I used to always be the type of fan like, if I miss first pitch, I miss first pitch. I'll get there relatively start. Now I'm like, never miss first pitch because I'll miss short bomb if I do that.
Yeah,
right.
It happens so much.
Honestly, the Phillies do better if I don't watch the first inning because Schwarber usually hits a home run that inning. So I've just been waiting for a little bit and then put it on because I'm not. The mojo's starting now, baby. And that's Eagle season takes up too much of my actual life to worry about that shit. But I can miss an inning or two for the Phillies.
Yeah. So we got anything else on the Phils, or is that just about cover it?
That's all I got here in my notes.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I guess we can. Should we touch quickly on the Sixers stuff? The Danny Green.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, Sixers sign Danny Green. He's back, baby.
I always liked him though.
Dude, I like I was saying before we started recording out on the stoop. I liked him 3 years ago before he was 36, coming off a torn ACL like a year and like 3 months ago.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
I always liked him. I also always loved Mike Scott, but I don't necessarily want him on the team now, which
That's
just
true.
feels kind of comparable to that.
Yeah.
It was a weird move. I mean, it's not like a big flash in the pan move, but it's a move. I mean, I don't know. It's something.
When your offseason consisted of signing Pat Beverly, no disrespect, I fucking love Pat Beverly, but consisted of signing Pat Beverly, signing Mo Bamba, signing Montrezl Harrell, who tore his ACL, and
Extending B-Ball Paul.
well, yeah, that's the big move, extending B-Ball Paul, yeah, lest we forget, and signing Philip Petrasev.
Yeah.
Like, signing Danny Green's kind of notable, so we have to talk about
somewhere
it.
in the middle, at least.
Yeah. It's at least a good. It's like I was saying outside. It seems like a vibe signing. Because needless to say, the vibes are not very good at the Sixers
Oh,
right now.
God, no.
And by all accounts, Danny Green, when he was here, was very popular in the locker room. Younger players really liked him, having him around and everything. So he gives you that. I don't know how much that's worth on the court, but
Well, I mean, it. Like I said, it's something. They did something, so it's at least a step in a positive direction as opposed to all the fucking let's talk about Harden doing all this dumb shit, which we have more to talk about. I know, but I'm just saying that at least it's somewhat of a counterweight where I feel like the last couple of weeks have just been Harden doing whatever Harden wants, and we just talking about what he's been doing. Or at least we're like, well,
did you guys
it's different?
Read the Ramona Shelburne article that came out today? I think it came out today.
Yeah.
It was kind of recounting a bunch of stuff that we sort of already knew about the whole Harden saga and how the whole falling out with the Sixers and stuff. But there's a couple little details in there that I think were noteworthy. Are you pulling it up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up here. So, there's the All-Star thing. It's not really worth quoting, but Harden essentially was upset he wasn't going to make the All-Star team. Adam Silver had reportedly planned to offer him a spot as an injury replacement as long as Harden promised he'd show up and play. Harden didn't get back to him right away and waited till
Left
days
him on
later
red.
after Silver had already decided, yeah, I got someone else here. So, Harden was upset about that. That's the first bit of, hurt feelings from him. And then after that, this is the one, dude. Obviously, we've talked at length about, the Daryl Morey issue. This one with Doc Rivers, man. So this is a Yahoo Sports article, kind of just paraphrasing. But one example she gave came in late February when Harden was given permission by the Sixers front office to travel to Miami separately from the team before they faced the Heat, so he could soak in some of the nightlife. Since the Sixers had just dropped 2 straight to the Heat at home, that reportedly didn't sit well with Rivers and a few other players. Nothing's unusual about this. Traveling separately for personal reasons isn't uncommon in the NBA, and Harden's done it before. And it's not unusual for the coach and the players to feel a certain way about it if their team has performed badly. But what Rivers did next took a simple situation and turned it into something deeper. He brought up Harden's separate travel in a team meeting and named names. From Shelburne's reporting, days later, Rivers brought it up in a team meeting, sources said, specifically mentioning several of the players who expressed concerns about Harden's actions. The whole episode was quote-unquote uncomfortable, one team source said, even if they agreed with the substance of Rivers' message to Harden and the idea of holding him accountable, it was awkward for the players who were named. What the hell's your boy doing, dude?
Yeah, Doc Rivers, man. Yeah, this is not something you want to be doing.
Yes, he's snitching like that?
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with him? Trevor, you got one more Doc Rivers impersonation?
Yeah. We're disappointed in you, James. And here's 5 players that also said you suck. You heard their names.
Who do you think it was, though?
That's what I was going to say. Do you
curious
think there
about.
anyone on the current team?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like who would be annoyed?
I bet Shake Milton was definitely one of them, but he's not in the team now.
Yeah, or like Furkan.
Well, Furkan's still here yet, but yeah.
Well, yeah, he's still on the team, but I'm just saying.
Furkan's still here?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
His trade request had not been come to fruition.
To be fair, I didn't notice that last year either.
No, Niang and Harden were boys. I know,
Yang without partying with him, probably.
Yeah, Niang and Harden were cool with each other. Toby probably did not.
Ooh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Toby did not like that shit.
Well, he's always taking shit from everybody else anyway, so like, fuck it. What's he got to lose?
So we got Toby, Milton.
What, maybe 3 other guys?
Embiid probably
Maybe
didn't
some
care.
young guys? B-ball, I don't really know.
B-ball Paul
Not
didn't
imagine
care.
B-ball.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't think of like anybody else that
I don't
would
remember
really.
who else was on the team last year, even though it's mostly the same roster.
I mean, it wouldn't be House or PJ, I would imagine.
No, hell no.
No, they probably were there with him.
Montrez.
That would be funny.
That would just be like a funny. It
might
gotta
have
be.
been.
Like,
That wouldn't shock me.
all they could do is sit there and critique.
I mean,
the game.
Montrez was probably sour because he wasn't playing at all anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And probably because they didn't get the invite.
True. So yeah, that
I mean,
leaves
I
us
could
with 2.
see, just the way things have been shaken out now. Embiid, if he said it in confidence, to be like, wow, like I'm disappointed, this and that. Maybe Embiid.
This was before Harden declined the invite to Embiid's wedding. Now Embiid would be like, yeah, I don't approve.
Can't imagine Maxey saying anything.
Nah.
No, he's too sweet.
Nah.
He's a sweet boy.
That's too negative for Maxey.
Yeah.
Maybe DeAnthony Melton. He might have felt some type of way.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's a. Also, Doc could have just been.
Yeah, Doc was probably
He
lying.
could have
He
just
always
been
lied.
talking shit. Yeah.
He
There
just-
were 8 guys that said this shit.
He
Like,
just
what?
made up shit to put
Yeah.
people on the spot.
The one guy's like just a ball boy. He's like, I didn't say what the fuck. I
He's
didn't
like
say shit. Yeah.
Mac McClung was complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mac McClung. And, whoever else.
Damn. Well,
Yeah, I think that's really all we
the
got
Harden
about
saga
the Sixers.
continues. Sixers get
Shit,
pretty much a neutral move. They didn't get better or worse. They kind of just stayed the same. They picked up just another body.
Oh, with Danny Green?
Yeah. So I think that's that.
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry for the listeners. I just realized that the dehumidifier was on all the time. So
Oh, Jesus.
hopefully it's a little quieter for the next,
Oh, I thought that was the fan.
the next half. Nah, I always forget about that thing.
That's all right.
That's all good.
No wonder I wasn't sweating. I feel good.
Yeah, considering how hot it is down here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Danny Green's going to end up playing like 20 minutes a night, man, just because the other wings that we have are what? Furkan, Daniel House. I think that's it. If you count PJ as a wing. Then
Yeah, I mean, but you got the familiarity,
yeah, what's the word that people use? The chemistry.
Oh yeah, big chemistry team. Yeah,
they're
big
most of the
chemistry
same
team.
rosters back. They may all hate James Harden. We got a new coach, but most of the same rosters back. We'll be all right.
They're
Whatever.
gelling. They're definitely not going to be affected by this whole offseason with James Harden because now that we have Danny Green as the locker room chemistry glue, everything else will be okay.
Yeah, this season's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be ass. Although, maybe they'll just be good enough to, make the playoffs. So this is what's going to happen. We're not going to care about them all year. We're going to be, tuning in for big games here and there, watching a little stupid tournament. Like Trevor said, they're probably going to win that bullshit and be like, wow, this is great. And then they're going to suck for a little bit. They'll sneak into the playoffs, and then we'll start caring too much. They'll win the first series. We'll be like, all right, maybe there's a chance here. And then, the wheels just start falling off again, and we get depressed and sad, and that's about it.
We're back on this podcast spitting vitriol again, like
I
last
did
season.
see it came out the bets for the, what's it called? Most likely player to ask for a trade next season is already Embiid, which makes sense, I think, in my mind.
He
Yeah,
said
It's
he's willing
Embiid,
to
it's Zion, which is whatever, and then I forget who the other 3 are.
Embiid has said he's willing to stick it out through at least the start of this season. I think he's going to come back really motivated. I've seen that one picture of him and Tatum working out. Embiid looked like more ripped up than
He's
he
getting
usually
jacked.
does.
Damn, he said, Boston, here I come.
So I think he'll come back serious and motivated and like ready to prove a point. It's just, do they get someone there to run with him? Because Harden's clearly not going to be feeling the same way.
I'm
But
kind of over him unless you learn how to be healthy and not get hurt. There's nothing really else he could do. He was the MVP last year in the regular season.
But that's the thing. Maybe he learns
couldn't-
how to be healthy. Maybe now that he's won MVP, he buys into load management a little more. It could
I
happen.
mean, Maxey says he gets 1% better every day. How many days has it been since Game 7 of the Celtics series?
At least 100.
Yeah, so, you know,
So it's just be exponentially better.
Yeah.
The whole 1% day, everything is also kind of bullshit to me, but that's a whole other thing. That's
You ain't
like
down with the
whatever,
1%ers.
Man. It doesn't make any fucking sense. What's gonna come back to be like? Anyway, I'm
With compound interest, you get pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about the Sixers.
Yeah, we'll have plenty
Really
of time
do.
to talk Sixers when
Yeah.
training camp starts in a few weeks and the shit show really begins.
But how
Clown
about
show,
them birds,
Bird
baby?
Gang, baby. We're
Go,
on the
We're
clock.
only
Go
a
Birds.
few days away.
Yeah,
Ugh.
one more sleep till actual football.
Mhm.
Not Eagles, but I'll be excited to
Yeah,
watch a football game
It's
again.
true.
First big hit to fantasy football, or at least up in the air with Travis Kelce
Oh, yeah.
hyperextending his knee. Questionable for the game.
I feel like he's not going to play tomorrow. but he'll
a
probably
knee
be back in a week or
hyperextension is
two.
pretty
I think
serious.
But yeah, no, it's a bone bruise. They've come out and say it's a
he
bone
ain't-
bruise.
Yeah.
No, I think he is going to play.
I
With a
think he's going to
bone
play and get
bruise?
like 100-plus yards and 2 touchdowns still.
He's-
It's like classic KC bullshit.
Well, he's going to play because with that bone bruise, like playing tight end, is like if you want to sit that out till it gets better, that's like 3 to 6 months. It's not going to get worse. It's just going to hurt like hell the whole season when he's playing. You know. So I expect him to play tomorrow.
Boom.
Who's got him in? Or no, none of us has
Don't
him
you
in
got-
fantasy.
I do
No.
not.
No, I
I
think
forget.
Chris has him in our league. All right.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
I ain't worried about it. It's a tight end at the end of the day. But it is Kelsey, so I do see that.
Yeah, he's won me a league or two before,
Yeah.
but enough
Could hurt
about.
Mahomes up. Well, anyway, yeah. More about the Bird
I got
Gang
Sky
here.
Moore. I'm cooling, dude.
Yeah.
Birds face off against the Patriots, 4:25 on Sunday. They play Mac Jones. They play a decently up-and-coming, still top 5, top 10 defense in the league with New England at home, 4:25. And they're doing a Tom Brady tribute, which he will be at the game. So they're going to be juiced up there playing against the defending NFC champs who were in the Super Bowl and the last team to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl while it was with New England. There's going to be, if that was flipped, if the script was flipped, I know the link would be fucking rocking.
Yeah.
If they had, Big Dick Nick out there.
Yeah, I was
and
going to say,
they
if it was
were,
Nick Foles day.
Yeah, but it's Tom Brady day and it's Boston. They're going to be all kind of some weird shit,
It's the most expensive resale ticket in the NFL. You can't get it basically.
Boom.
I bet,
That's
yeah.
because all those New England fans don't want to give those tickets up.
No.
But is there anybody on the team in the Patriots right now who ever played with Tom Brady? I mean, the fans are going to go nuts. I don't know if the team's going to actually care.
Yeah,
think Van
McCourty
Noy is-
retired.
McCourty
they're
retired. Van Noy's been gone.
There might be like a
Maybe an
really
O
obscure
lineman?
player. Yeah.
Maybe some O lineman.
But for the
'Cause
most,
Jalen Mills was with us
yeah,
when we
yeah,
played
yeah,
them. Yeah.
he helped defeat Tom Brady.
Yeah,
so.
he's still there yet, but
Maybe
that
they'll
was like the next
sabotage.
offseason.
A
Yeah.
little sabotage issue here.
But so I don't know if the team's going to be like extra fired up for Tom Brady today, but the crowd will definitely be fired
Well,
up.
the thing is that the defense will probably be playing very well for New England, but I can't see Mac Jones going out here and torching us for 300 plus yards. You know what I mean? Their run game with Stevenson's probably going to be
Yeah,
the
their
biggest.
run game's nice.
Yeah, that's
But-
probably going to be the big
I'm
thing.
kind of concerned about their run game.
But we got the healthiest. We're the healthiest we're ever going to be in the first game, and Detroit last year chewed us up a big time. Chewed us up a bunch. However, that's the only knock this defense really handled them all season was the fact that they couldn't stop the run, and they get a healthy Jordan Davis back. You got Jalen Carter, you got Nolan Smith, I would be surprised if they give up a lot of run yards, but it could be a pretty back and forth game and shitty weather coming up. So it could be let's see what Rashad Penny's got. Let's see what Swift, and it's going to be a maybe run by committee type of game.
Only concern I got about our run defense is that defensive front is really good, but if they get past that, now you got N'Kobe Dean's never started a game before. And is Zach Cunningham going to be our other starter? Or
Yeah.
Kristen? Yeah. So two guys who have never played for us before. One of them's never started an NFL game before. That's scaring me a little bit. But I think like the eliteness of our defensive line can maybe compensate a little for that.
Yeah, I'm like, if I would say like my biggest concern about the Patriots offense is anything, I would say it's their running game against our linebackers and our safeties. Because like you're gonna play some safeties in the box. You're gonna play Sidney Brown in the box, who like we know he plays with his hair on fire, which a lot of times it's good. But sometimes you play too aggressive, you get burnt. You run by the play, or you're gonna play like a Terrell Edmonds or Justin Evans, which there's a reason why these guys are available, like with all due respect.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm kind of concerned about that. Mac Jones doesn't scare me. The only quarterback more mayonnaise than Will Levis, if you will.
Oh, God, that's a good one.
I'm not intimidated by him at all, but they also got Zeke. Not that Zeke's anything that he used to be, but you get Zeke in the red zone, Zeke can still plow over some dudes, man.
Yeah.
If they get to the red zone. I mean, I'm just
We
saying.
can get to score predictions, but you seem like really confident.
Sure, is Zeke going to score? Probably, but I'm okay with that. You know, you get 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, you're still an NFL athlete. You know, that's your one job, and he's put on a couple more pounds. So, yeah, I can see them getting in. We weren't unstoppable from a defensive run standpoint at the defense. When it comes down to passing, though, I feel like we're going to get ahead probably to a little bit of a lead if we play like we should play. And you're telling me Mac Jones as quarterback with the subpar O-line is going to torch us with Juju Smith-Schuster and Devontae Parker?
See, that's the thing.
Come on now, they got no receiving core.
I think they'll keep it close in the first half to the first 3 quarters, but we'll, like, some sort of turnover leads to an offensive touchdown. Then they'll have to play from behind in the 4th, and that's where we kind of just put it away.
I think
But I think for the first half, we're going to be kind of taken aback a little bit.
Does the coaching ability of Bill Belichick scare you guys at all, or do you think his time has kind of passed?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that he's kind of like. I mean, you saw how some of their games ended last year. Like, there were some pretty inexcusable bad decisions that I feel like he doesn't really get the criticism for because he has such a great, resume and is widely considered like the best coach in football, this and that. But I don't know. I mean, last year, some of it. I mean, I remember like some of his like press conferences last year were definitely giving off like the vibes of like late Eagles, Andy Reid. Like,
Yeah.
he had a lot of I need to do a better job energy, and just like I don't know, but it's weird. Like I don't. He seems like he's a guy who can get a lot out of players. Like I know there's a lot of times where someone will like go over there and all of a sudden they're just like playing like an all-star, like fucking like Patrick Chung. Remember when he like left the Eagles with there?
Got to bring him up, yeah.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't know if he like scares me the way he used to.
Here's what I think the thing is with him is schematically, I think the NFL's kind of passed him by in some ways. Like, this is a guy that's been coaching since, like, the 90s. The game's changed a lot, and I don't think he's fully adjusted with it. But at the same time, like, to your guys' point, like, he's developed players still. He developed a Patrick Chung. Like, Jaden Mills has hung around for a while as a 7th-round pick with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, the McCourty guys, like, they were in their mid-30s still playing pretty high-level football. So, I think as a motivator and just, like, as a manager of people, I think Belichick's probably still very good. I think schematically he's just kind of washed.
I don't know if he's washed. I think that he goes back to even the 80s. I mean, he pretty much got his tenure under Bill Parcells, who was a defensive-minded, run-heavy kind of guy. And, you know, he had a probably brief stint of Cleveland Browns greatness before the franchise folded for that quick minute. But, you know, they had a great run when he was their coach there for a hot second. But I think that his teams historically have been, even under the Tom Brady era, focused on, except for a few seasons with, you know, Randy Moss and things like that, but really a great top 10 defense at least, solid O-line, and a top 10 run game. And that's really what's gotten them through all that era. I mean, Tom Brady, not for nothing, that playbook for Belichick is pretty simple in terms of just dink and dunk passing. Every now and then you open it up Andy Reid's more West Coast, a lot more deep bombs. You want a Tyreek Hill, a Deshaun Jackson, things like that to help you out. Even T.O. back in the day. And Belichick never really put pressure on that. That's why he's always gotten guys like Juju Smith-Schuster now and Parker last year and shit like that. He doesn't really focus on those people. But run game, they've had good. So I think Ezekiel Elliott late in his career will be good in this game. I think Belichick, it's going to come down to a chess match between can Sirianni still have a high-powered offense without Shane Steichen against a guy who's been in the league for 40-plus years as a devout defensive / old-fashioned school kind of football guy in a probably shitty weather game.
Yeah.
In New England, in arguably a rivalry of Philadelphia, so to speak, at least with Belichick. Not none of the guys that are there probably anymore, but I think it's more between it's Nick Sirianni's game to win or lose as it is Jalen Hurts or the rest of the team, because I feel like with losing Shane Steichen as your offensive coordinator, I think that Desai will have a pretty good scheme against a subpar offense with New England. But that's kind of it's like new age head coach versus the old and true football kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic to kind of consider. Like, Nick Sirianni said he's looked up to Bill Belichick for a while and has always kind of admired the way that he coaches. I don't think he's ever coached against him. We know that Bill Belichick defenses always like to take away a team's strengths. The Eagles' strengths are their running game and their receivers.
And Hurts.
Yeah, and Hurts. Hurts is a part of the running game.
But he's like a soul.
Yeah.
He is the sole weapon of the team.
So, like, it'll be interesting to see, like, to your point, that chess match. Like, Bill Belichick's going to defend the run game. He's going to try to force Hurts to throw it over the middle of the field. How does the Eagles' offense respond? Like, how does the defense respond off of that? I think it's going to be a good game.
But speaking of that, do we have a little secret weapon getting us inside of Bill Belichick's head named Matt Patricia on this coaching staff?
Is this why we brought him in?
Nobody could figure out why. Is this it?
Yeah,
that game
for
week one against the
For
Patriots is that important.
Is it worth deteriorating, Big Pace Slay's mental health?
what
probably
would,
not.
What would scare me more is that, like, Bill Belichick would be like, oh, they hired Matt Patricia. I know exactly what he's going to tell them. I'm going to do the opposite.
Right. He, like I said, that's the ultimate chess match where he's
Yeah.
like, you think you got a mole, but he's my mole still. It's like, what the fuck? I don't think it's that deep, but they got Matt Judon. They got a great defense. They got that cat from Michigan too with the long hair on defense. I mean, they're good. They have a solid team defensively. They're in a tough division, so they're used to playing tough games. It's going to be an interesting game. Week 1, too, so everybody's just ready to hit someone that's not in their same jersey.
Yeah.
But I think they come out with a win. I think I had it on the books as a win. I didn't
we
say it
all
would be a
did,
blowout, but I think, it's going to be a hard-fought, kind of like the Detroit game last year, too. Like, you were over the house, too. When it wasn't necessarily like, oh, wow, they're going to the Super Bowl, but it was like, okay, cool. They got week 1 out of the way. Now we can all breathe. Just get through week 1. So I feel, and then you got a quick, turnaround with Minnesota
for Thursday.
But that's always the script, right? Get that week 1 out of the way, then we'll beat Kirk Cousins at nighttime.
Yeah.
So it happened last year.
The
rest was history after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what are y'all scores predictions?
I don't know.
Thought about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, why don't you start us off there?
Yeah.
What you got?
Oh. So I think we cover, but barely. I think the
What
line
is the
right
line?
now is 3.5.
3.5.
So I think we win 26-21. As I said, I think their run game's kind of going to give us some trouble. I like Nakobe Dean. I think long-term he figures it out, but this is his first game starting. I think they're going to kind of fuck with him some with, like, some play action, some RPOs. You don't really have to worry about, like, the read option, like the QB runs, but I think, like, they'll come up with some unique schemes to kind of mess with our linebackers. That's what Belichick does.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like, first half will be tight. Second half, our offense will figure them out. We'll end up winning 26-21 in a game that isn't as close as the score indicates.
All right, I got one. So that line interests me because that seems like a line that is trying to tempt people to bet the Eagles. 3.5, if you had been casually following all offseason, you'd be like, the Eagles are going to win by way more than that. So I think they're trying to draw us in, and that we are going to win by 27-24 and not cover.
Okay.
I'll go. I think it'll be a little more high score. I think it's gonna be 31-24. Eagles. Yeah.
Pat, what you got, yo?
I'm going to say 27-17.
Okay.
I think that with the weather in play, there'll be more field goals. I think that,
That's true.
we'll probably, knowing just how the Eagles operate, hopefully start off hot with passing and shit like that. Probably jump out to an early lead. And I think that if you make Mac Jones have to try to play catch up through the air, you got him right where you want him.
Yeah, he's
so
butt, dude.
they're going to be a lot of running the ball in the second half for the Birds. You're going to see a lot of probably Boston Scott and Gainwell and Rashad Penny. I mean, all those guys running the ball a lot, maybe some tight end action, but I don't see them airing it out a whole lot, especially when they're calling for rain literally until Tuesday. So it's not worth getting anybody pulling a hamstring, running a 20-yard fucking, wheel route or whatever, just because you want to torch New England on their, parade or whatever. But I think that it's going to be a pretty ugly game. You'll probably see Hurts throw a pick or two. Someone's probably going to fumble the ball, but it's all first game jitters. You know what I mean? Give them the room to do that shit, and then they come home on Thursday and have a pristine ass whooping of Minnesota, which I can't wait to put fucking Kirk Cousins' ass on a platter.
Wait, Pat, you have Hurts throwing 2 picks and somebody else putting the ball on the floor and still win by 10?
Yeah, I think that if it's as sloppy as I'm saying give.
They'll do it too.
I'm not saying that they're going to do that. I'm saying that if it is a sloppy game, get it out now. They've had, Hurts has had the longest season he's ever had. Same with most of this team right now, really, going to the Super Bowl. Short off season. A lot of new guys in there. You got a new left guard playing with Simuwalu out. You got, Cam Jurgensen filling in for that spot, which he should do fine. But that defense is going to be pretty ferocious, I can predict, potentially. But, given the circumstance. Now, if it's a nice, beautiful day, could be different. Could be more like Trevor score. But if it's going to be what they're saying it's going to be, midday, 4:25, they're raining all day, the field's going to be a little sloppy, it's an outdoor stadium, the place should be rocking if I'm a home fan of Boston and, you love Tom Brady,
That place is going to be popping, yeah.
It could just be kind of people missing cues, fucking up. 2 picks, I don't think is that bad. And I'm not saying they're all on him. It could be like a tip ball at the line and then, someone picks it off or it's on Hurts, but it's not really his fault. And you got really... half the running back room is brand new, so you can see them probably getting confused behind those big guys. But, I think they still come out with a W, but it could be a truly ugly game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, when the schedule was first announced and we kind of knew what the roster looked like, I thought this was going to be Eagles 31-15, 31-17, let's say. Knowing the weather, knowing a little bit more about the roster, just having a little bit more time to catch up, I think it's a close game. But, yeah, we're the better team. Should be the better coach team. A couple things scare me, but we should win.
And we still don't have a punter, so we're going for it on 4th downs, and we're going to get field goals.
He's on the practice squad.
They've been probably trying to see if anyone else pops, but no one has.
Just let Jake Elliott punt it, too, and save that roster spot.
Right.
Honestly, or just fucking go for it.
Yo, why don't
He's done it
teams
before
do
a
that?
couple times. I don't know, man.
What's the difference between kicking and punting? Is it that big a difference?
Well, I guess one's more like pinpoint, and one's more kind of just...
That's true. I guess a punter, you need to be a little more accurate.
Heaving and hoeing. I mean, one guy we had, not Sipos, but we had some other kind of not Bobrovsky, some weird shit like that. That one punter we got that was Australian or some weird shit like that.
Savroka?
Yeah, South Rocca.
Oh,
yeah.
Savroka was the guy,
See,
yo.
that guy isn't going to be a finesse kind of field goal guy. That guy's just booting that ball.
Yo, what about Sebastian Janikowski, the Russian kicker that loved to drink? Can he punt now?
I'd sign his ass up.
He was a big dude. He was 6'3", 260 as a punter.
How old is he? I mean, you said there were no 60-year-old All-Stars.
He's about 45, man.
Bird gang, baby.
Tom Brady was 45 and he made a Pro Bowl.
That's true.
Well,
your boy.
My boy. But not this week.
Don't be blushing over here.
Yeah.
Relax. You got all pinked up with the cheeks. He said, "My boy."
But speaking of Marlin's boys, should we talk about Mr. Chip Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay. So, fellas, last time I came on here, I made the case, for why as Eagles fans you should like and respect Tom Brady. I don't think I won that. I didn't win you guys over. In fact, I lost that debate because you guys mentioned to me that not only was he in that movie, but he it was his idea and he produced it. And so you guys got me to say fuck Tom Brady by the end of that.
Thank God.
So I lost that one, but I think I got a much stronger case for why, on the whole, not saying he was perfect, not saying he was the best Eagles coach ever, but that Chip Kelly was a net positive on the Eagles. So allow me to really quickly make this case.
Yeah, break that down for us real quick.
Okay, so, just going to start off with 2013, he gets the team. We go on 4-12 the year before. We have our draft. First two guys we get in the draft, Lane Johnson and then Zach Ertz. These are two guys who helped us win the Super Bowl. So there's the first two guys of his regime that get brought in. And then, a lot of people hate him for, in subsequent years getting rid of Nick Foles. Let's be honest, Nick Foles was not going to be our starting quarterback long term. We saw that everywhere else he ever went and played. He cannot be the long-term starter. I know we love him because of what he did in the Super Bowl. But he did unlock the key to making Nick Foles a successful quarterback. Doug Peterson himself says, I looked at what Chip Kelly did with him in 2013. That's how I figured out how to use him in the playoffs. There's one other guy he got in 2013 I'm going to get back to because he's my final bomb I'm going to drop that I don't think you can deny is an amazing move. But I want to move forward to 2014 when we pick up Malcolm Jenkins. Everyone says, oh, he's going to get Jarris Bird. Yeah, that's his boy from Oregon. We're going to get Jarris Bird. We're going to get Jarris. Instead, he brings in Malcolm Jenkins. And that was the defensive leader on our Super Bowl team.
That's one of my favorite Eagles ever. I'll give you that.
And who brought him in?
Was he the GM at the time, though?
Oh, was he the GM at the time? Okay, so the guy officially listed as GM at the time was Howie Roseman. So if you want to give him credit for that, you also explain why Howie Roseman cut Deshaun Jackson in his prime.
Okay.
Every Eagles fan I've ever talked to has said that that Chip Kelly did that. Same GM. So, anyways, I would say, to be fair, this is a collaborative effort between the two of them at this time.
Yeah.
So, anyways, also, I know he was hurt during the Super Bowl, but Darren Sproles was brought in the 2014 season.
I'm going to counteract that last point you made about
Go ahead.
Would
love to talk about it.
Signing a free agent or making a trade that way is different than cutting a player, where Chip Kelly did mention he wanted full autonomy over the players on the roster. Right, that are already on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, making a move that way could have fallen under... I got to look into this. I'm not sure. But there was a weird thing where he did kind of shun Howie Roseman away, and thankfully Howie Roseman stayed with the team and didn't leave us for any reason that way. But Chip Kelly did have...
talk about that in a minute. But
sure,
okay.
Chip Kelly did have a weird regime that way. That's all. I just want to get to that. All right.
So anyways, I'm making the positive case for Chip in his first 2 years because I'm going to willingly say 2015 was just a terrible season. There was not much redeemable about it, and I want to get to my explanation of that. But before that, I want to say the other guy we brought in 2013 that I think as a head coach you got to completely give to Chip Kelly, who we are still benefiting from to this day, is Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland was brought in by Chip Kelly in his first year, and that's why we can, not only to have a great guy who can help us win the Super Bowl, also why we can be oh, let's go get a guy, enjoy Mailata, who's got raw talent but's never played football in his life. We can't make that move if we're not we have the best, not only the best O-line coach, but probably the best position coach in all of the NFL.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I will give you that one.
So to me, that's a big one, and that is a position coach. I think that's the head coach who brought him in. He survived Chip getting fired. He survived Doug getting fired. Hopefully Nick stays for a long time, but if he does get fired in the next 5-10 years, I hope he stays for the next guy. It's, one of our best assets.
Good. Chip also, not to go full on Chip defense, but he also brought us Dave Phipp, who outlasted him as well.
I actually meant to bring that up, and I don't know why Dave Phipp isn't still in this team, because we're certainly not doing better on special teams
was honestly
without
the
him.
best. I think that was the best special teams
I
think I've seen on any team ever.
Do you guys remember?
I've never seen any team score so much on special teams.
2014,
field goal return.
We should have lost
our
a couple
special
games.
teams were banging. With Dave Phipp, our special teams were live. Even after Chip left, they were still very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a coordinator level guy he brought in. So I think he put together a lot of good aspects. Now, 2015, I just want to ask you guys, have you ever seen before a situation where this guy's out as GM, this guy's in as GM, but the guy who's out as GM is staying here? And not only the owner says he's going to stay here, but the guy who gets kicked out of being the GM says, yeah, I will stay here. I don't think I've ever seen that scenario ever in any other football team ever.
Not that I can think of.
Do you guys think that's a little weird?
I mean,
like that maybe Jeff Lurie was saying to Howie, you're going to be right back in this next year. We're getting rid of him.
probably. At the same time, though, like Chip Kelly, you can say it that way, but then Chip Kelly went to go coach for, what did he play for, San Fran? Or he coached San Fran? He didn't revolutionize anything there. Like,
sir, I'm not here to defend what he did with San Fran. I hate the 49ers. I'm glad that he had a terrible season with them. That's also cool. That's another cool thing he did, in my opinion.
I mean, after that, like, I guess this would have been the 2014, 2015. No, this would have been the 2015 into 2015, 2016 offseason where we signed. Is that when we signed DeMarco Murray? Which at the time
that was a terrible. So
I was kind of excited about it at the time.
Because they fired him midway through the season, and then what's his name, who was from the Vikings, took over.
It was Pat Shermer. It was not midway through the season, only for the last game to Pat Shermer.
Right, it was like the last game. I remember when the day Chip Kelly got fired.
I guess my point about what I think is weird about that last season is all of a sudden, and Jeff Lurie said this at one point. He was like, "Well, I told Chip you should go win me a Super Bowl this year," and I thought. It's funny. Everyone, like the kind of fan response to 2015's disappointment was, Chip Kelly said he was going to win us a Super Bowl, and he never said that. But apparently Jeff Lurie said you're going to win me a Super Bowl in 1 year.
Well,
that's a little bit of an unrealistic expectation.
With
maybe
the roster that he had.
maybe it takes a guy to do some wild moves and take some wild gambles to try to win a Super Bowl in 1 year with a team that he thinks is good but not really close to winning a Super Bowl.
Well, I might counteract that with Jeff could see like how despite some of the good football moves Chip made, how he was just wearing on everyone personally, like the coaching staff, the scouts, the players, himself. Like
I will agree with you. I think the reason that Chip kind of, in my opinion, got put in an unfair situation and quickly fired in 2015 was because he was an asshole. But
I think that's
you can't say an asshole got put in an unfair situation when you just called him an asshole. I mean, I think that Chip Kelly,
Bill Belichick's an asshole too, but he doesn't get put in unfair situations.
Because he's got 7 fucking rings.
And he had Tom Brady for a lot of those.
I'm just saying, you can't compare that at all. But your point is that Chip Kelly in the rankings of Eagles coaches sits.
So when
what is your defense? Is that he's a great Eagles coach? What do we?
My defense is not that he's I think he had run his course and it was time for him to go. What I don't like is the way that Eagles fans look back and they're like that was the worst thing ever.
No.
And because look, guys that we remember fondly, Andy and Doug, and obviously they accomplished more than Chip ever did. They also left us in what felt like a worse state than what Chip left us in. Most people say, "Oh, Chip destroyed this team."
Did not Chip take the team and then win the division the next year?
Yeah, Chip took the team and won the division next year. Right.
So he didn't leave the team, and it was pretty much the same team.
Did Doug not take the team and win the Super Bowl in 2 years? So how bad did Chip leave them?
I'm just saying is that there were things. Well, you had Carson Wentz, a whole different quarterback scheme too. He got rid of Nick. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense that way at all.
We can't turn into Carson Wentz defender.
I'm not. I'm just saying though. It's not like
we cannot come full circle.
I'm not coming full circle that way. I'm just saying that we did go for a top 5 pick and then we drafted Carson. It was a whole different. That changed the whole dynamic of everything.
Except we had certain cornerstones brought in by Chip Kelly. Lane Johnson, Zach Ertz, Malcolm Jenkins, and Jeff Stoutland.
I think Jeff Stoutland's the big one that I had kind of underestimated.
Nobody's ever really given him credit for bringing in Stout.
We're not talking about Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Jason Peters.
They were Andy Reid guys.
We're not talking. We're not going to give credit to Andy Reid for the Super Bowl.
I think people do. I think people do.
I think that you made it a very big point to say that we won the Super Bowl because he brought in 2 players, 3 players and a couple of coaches who, of course, Stoutland's the man. Love that guy. I'm not knocking any of those. I'm not knocking a move that way, but I think that it's a little bit.
But it's not. You're talking about it's not 3 random players. Malcolm Jenkins is like the guy everyone remembers from that defense. He's the number 1 guy.
I got his jersey.
Sure, I'm just saying. I think it's a little naive to then put the fact that Doug Peterson's success with the team is based off of some of the moves that Chip Kelly made. Of course, the team is an ever-evolving and ever-adapting and growing team from the coach prior, but no one was saying, oh, wow, we won that team because Andy Reid. Like, no, the team, we drafted, as an organization drafted these players. So I think that you're getting a little too hung up on Chip Kelly's attachment and touches here and there for things.
But like I said, I'm not, like I said at the very start of this, I'm not trying to convince anyone he's like the best thing that's ever happened to this team. What I'm saying is, 2013 and 2014 were 2 good years, and then he had 1 bad year and he got fired. So he had more good years than he had bad years, and he left our team in a place to win a Super Bowl in 2 years.
He had a good year for sure, but I will say that I think the thing that people get upset about is the fact that, like, yeah, we caught lightning in a bottle. We got a little hot streak. We won the division, and then nothing really happened with that, with a solid team. And then the year after you win the division, it's the way that he went about the next moves. Guys that didn't fit in the locker room. Guys that didn't mend to his program or call him sir, or whatever the fuck he was doing there with that weird little cult that he had going on in the locker room. But you get rid of guys that are stapled guys of Philadelphia, Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy. I mean, come on now. These are moves. You trade LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso. What? I'm just saying, listen, you came in hot with your takes, and I appreciate that. I love that. No big deal. That's awesome. However, you got to be able to own the fact that, like, those aren't smart moves. And sure, he might have. We don't know who drafted. I doubt Chip Kelly was the first one to say it, but it could have been a tandem of 2. Lane Johnson and Ertz, for sure. Staple franchise guy. Eagles Hall of Famers. One's definitely a Hall of Famer in Lane Johnson. No knock on that. But at the same time, he made some terrible moves. He didn't kill the franchise, and we definitely benefited from some things he did moving forward, but he's not like this missing piece that helped us out. I mean, he did do a lot of weird shit too while he was here, which I feel like you're just brushing under the rug.
He did do a lot of weird shit, and look, he definitely
and
made bad moves.
What's the difference statistically between Sam Bradford and fucking Nick Foles? Nick Foles tied the record for most touchdowns in a game, and then you bring Sam Bradford in, who does what? Nothing.
Okay, well, Sam Bradford was obviously. I mean, he got hurt, and we had to play Mark Sanchez, and that wasn't go. Though I would say, I would never have thought we could have done as good with Mark Sanchez as we did under Chip Kelly, to be honest with you.
No, we can't be talking about this.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, this is actually deeper than I intended to go. But
oh god.
But I will just say, I mean, he made some bad moves. Every coach makes bad moves. You know, every GM makes bad moves. I could talk about Nelson Aguilar, although he also did help us win the Super Bowl. But I will not defend that as a good move. But I think he left us in a place where he had torn down kind of a good team and left us with like the shell of a team that will become great in 2 years. And part of that was making the painful decision to be like, we're not going to, pay top dollar for LaShawn McCoy because that's not how you win a Super Bowl. And plus he's getting older. The Deshaun Jackson move,
but he did win 2.
What?
After leaving Philly?
You're really.
I'm messing.
We're going off the rails here, man.
Look. Yeah, I mean, I've made my case. If anybody has any cross examination, I'll answer it. But I think I've gotten my points out there.
I will give you credit that your pro Chip Kelly argument is better than your pro Tom Brady argument.
No, big
even
time.
80 for Brady aside. Like, you made me think about some things that I hadn't initially considered. Ultimately, I think at the end of the day that Chip Kelly's biggest downfall was that he was such a huge asshole that it was just kind of hard for not only the players, but the coaching staff, the scouts, the front office, Jeffrey, for everyone to kind of work with the guy. With that said, I think he kind of changed a lot of the way NFL teams are coached now. Yeah. The RPO, the spread offense, run pass options. What's the other thing I'm thinking of? Zone reads.
Yeah.
Like the whole like philosophy of having a quarterback that can run that style of college offense, can also run a pro offense. It's kind of brought in by Chip Kelly in a lot of ways, and he of proved it can work. Certainly there were some downsides to the way he coached, like running a hurry up. You run a 3 and out, your defense is back on the field in a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like your defense on the field for 75 plays a game. Like there were certain things about him that did not work. So what I'll say, like, having listened to you and Pat sort of just give your Chip Kelly takes, is that kind of falls somewhere in between. I think that, again, he did a lot of good things. He's not a great manager. Kind of the opposite of Belichick, I guess, where I said Belichick was a good manager of people and schematically was just not good. Chip Kelly, I think, schematically had a lot of good ideas. Wasn't perfect.
He's still around.
Perfect, but was just an awful manager of people, an awful person to work with. And
so I guess he's
with UCLA now.
Yeah, we could conclude, a lot of what he did failed not only here but with the Niners, which again was cool when that happened. But another thing that was cool that Chip did.
If only it could have gone into more NFL teams and ruined more NFL teams.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always a good making of a good head coach.
Yeah, oh man, imagine Jerry Jones being like, "We got Jim Kelly,"
but
Chip Kelly fires his Jerry Jones' son. What the fuck?
Yeah, that would be cool. But no, so I guess we could say maybe like you're saying, a lot of stuff that's still in the NFL, but he didn't really figure out how to fit into the NFL. So he was a figure who was a little bit ahead of his time, kind of in the Eagles pantheon. He sits right next to Randall Cunningham. We agree on that, okay?
Yeah, I would say he's not by any means the worst coach that has ever happened to the Eagles.
Hell no.
Probably isn't he top 5, but I don't think
He'd probably be in top 5. I would put him top 5 for sure.
I mean, how many coaches have they had?
If you encapsulate the whole career, you mentioned all the very good things,
Ray
which
Rhodes
is
or
true.
Chip is like we don't need to relitigate the
I'm
Ray
just
Rhodes
saying,
tenure.
I just think that like
Rich Kotite.
in Hall,
Rich Kotite also went 10-6 his first 2 years, and then actually had a similar trajectory.
Yeah, they were very similar. That's true.
Yeah, in totality of the career, though, I think Chip Kelly, there were some positives for sure. Also some negatives. You didn't mention the fact that he drafted a fireman either, but...
Whoa. Chip Kelly was not here for that.
That was 2011, man.
All right. I had to throw a little something out there.
Don't bring that. I mean, he drafted Nelson Aguilar and Marcus Smith. You couldn't bring those things up. Now I'm making your case for you.
Marcus Smith was... Ooh, that's painful.
Oh, yeah, fuck, I forgot about that guy.
That was bad.
But, yeah, I guess we kind of fall where Chip was all right. He wasn't the best, wasn't the worst.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll give you credit for your defense of Chip Kelly a lot more than your credit for your Tom Brady defense.
I appreciate that because Tom Brady was never an Eagle. I love my Eagles first.
You definitely have way more knowledge of the Chip Kelly shit, which is phenomenal, as opposed to the Tom Brady argument, which is good. I'll take that.
So should we talk about this diarrhea plane?
Yeah, we can't not talk about the diarrhea plane.
Yeah, a little more time, I think. Yeah, a few minutes. So there was diarrhea on a plane. Was it going from like Atlanta to Barcelona, all the way to Spain?
So it got like 2 hours into the flight. They had to turn around.
Yeah, this guy had crazy ass diarrhea. I guess it was there was a video that showed it it must have been like he was trying to get to the bathroom and just like couldn't keep it in, and it was just blasting all over the floor.
What do you think he ate?
Oh man,
how does that happen?
I'm trying to think of what kind of delicacies they might have at the Atlanta airport.
I heard that place is like a mall. Have y'all ever been to that Atlanta airport?
I've never been to the Atlanta
airport. It's big.
Maybe he had a lot of wings. Or
yeah, must have had some
if it's like a mall, you might have
Or-
had some Andy Ann's pretzels.
I will say, bread and olive oil is a big lubricant for the old butthole. So maybe he was at like a local Olive Garden or some shit like that. And,
They probably got an Olive Garden in that airport.
100%.
I've heard it's
100%.
like a straight up mall,
100%.
like
probably
a Cherry
does.
Hill Mall. Yeah.
Or you're eating like a lot of like greasy food and a couple shots of whiskey if he's got like fight anxiety. So you're like getting a little boozed up. You're eating greasy food. Or you're eating like a ground turkey burger, which ground turkey meat rips me up too that way with the poop. So maybe, just a little. And then you get into the elevation, so pressure's kind of building in the cabin a little bit. Your loins aren't used to it.
You know too much about this. Have you ever pooped on an airplane like this?
Hell, I love pooping anywhere but the ground. On a boat, in the air. Pooping is fun in different places. But anyway, that's a whole...
Including the litter box, right?
Not litter box.
No.
Stephanie Garrity. Let the rule...
Number one.
Stephanie Garrity, I do not poop in cat litter boxes. But I can see where, the goose can get loose a little bit. You're walking down the aisle, you're stressed out, you're probably sweaty, he's probably nervous. He knows he ain't going to make it.
That would be the worst if that was his, if you just had, if it was, your first flight and you just had anxiety about it. The end result was you shitting all over the plane so bad that they had to stop the flight.
Dude, but if you're that concerned about it, they make adult diapers, you know what I'm saying?
But the fact that the pilots to say we have a hazardous... There's a flight risk because you're shitting so much.
Well, here's what I was thinking. So I guess this guy must have been, because there was that trail of shit was going a long way, right? So he must have been in coach, far away from the bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you want to get upgraded to first class, we should do is tell the people at the customer service, it's like, hey, look,
I have IBS.
I've been eating a lot of bad stuff today. My stomach's feeling bad. I have a history. I think you might want to put me in first class so I'm close to those bathrooms.
It would definitely work.
And they might just kick you off.
It's like, look, here's well, maybe. Like,
they give you a layover.
Here's the deal. You want to roll the dice and take a chance of this plane having to turn around, or you just want to upgrade me for free and...
So like, what kind of terroristic
Put me
threat?
right
What kind of new age terroristic threat is this?
This is like the evolution of the shoe bomber guy didn't work out.
Listen,
so.
I took my shoes off. I got through fucking TSA, but I got a bomb up in here, and it will go off at some point in this plane. So I can either be near the toilet.
I have a bomb. Al Qaeda's finally figured out a new way to sneak bombs on the plane. Like,
In their intestines.
in our ass.
Eating my asshole.
Good
Although I will
Lord,
say,
man.
even when you're in like on a long flight like that, you got 2 different bathrooms. So like, it is a bitch when like you walk to the closest one and there's a line, and you're like, can I make it to the back of the plane? And maybe no one's going back there. Then you get back there and the line's filled up. You're like, God damn it! And you're just stuck in between playing ping pong pretty much with the bathroom stalls. That's what it sounds like we have with this guy. He probably gambled.
For there to be a trail back and forth.
He gambled. It's just back.
It'd be like such a cartoon. Yeah, he's just like running to the one, just starts coming like, oh no, then he runs back to one, and like one other person's got in the line. Oh no!
You see them coming out of their seat as you're going. You're like, no! You're pushing kids out of the way. No.
Oh man.
Someone falls over. What is this? Ew! You're like, oh my god. Yeah. Then you're stuck. You don't come back from that. You can't go on a flight for like at least a year after that.
My question is like, do they have like a secure area? Like, so after this incident happens, they come over to the speaker and they're like, because of what you all know just happened, we're going to have to turn the plane around and you're not going to Spain anymore, right? Do they make like this guy or whoever it is? I don't want to assume. Do they make the individual just go back and sit in the regular seat? Everyone knows who it is at this point.
Hell.
You know,
No,
like
they can't.
because you might get killed. You know,
You gotta lock them in the bathroom.
I was just gonna
That's
say the
it.
same thing. You keep that person in the bathroom, dude.
Yeah,
Because you
They
know
probably
what?
smell. You
it
can't
could
have
come back,
them.
man.
You don't have. When's the
well,
last
the
time?
whole plane smells at this point.
When's the last time you saw a
That's
fucking
true.
mop on a plane? That shit's just rocking in the aisle. So you got.
Yeah, I mean it's all carpeted in there, right?
And if you're in the seat in the aisle
Yeah,
seat
that's a thing.
next to that, you thought the beer cart in your elbow was the worst thing. Now you're looking at this guy's fucking shit stains next to you all day for another
with
2
a
hours.
dirty paper towel.
2 hours
over it.
in,
Yeah.
they say we got to go back. That
and
means
then
you
you
got
gotta
2
turn
hours
around.
back with a little shit ski next to you.
Plus, as long as it takes a turn around,
Yeah.
They
Ooh.
better
2.5 hours.
They better
Yuck.
keep that bar cart open then, because you got to figure it out, ladies, or everybody, men, people, everybody. Fuck that. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That
I was
doesn't-
telling you guys this outside, but I had this happen. Well, I didn't have this happen to me, but it was like I did have a flight that had to get turned around on the way to my brother's wedding. It was going from like San Francisco to Hawaii, and this guy just started like trying to destroy one of the bathrooms. Just like
You have to define destroy.
I didn't see what the aftermath was.
But no, you have to say because he could be destroying it with his own fecal
yeah,
matter.
no, he wasn't like blowing his asshole all over the place. He was like physically assaulting the bathroom.
There you go. Okay.
with his fist, I guess.
That's different.
And
yeah.
Because he was constipated.
Destroy can mean many things with a bathroom.
Yeah, we were just sitting there and like we knew that there was some kind of something going up with the bathroom. There was some guy that just locked himself in there for a long time, and people were like, "What's going on?" And like, what we all figured was happening was like some guy was just trying to like sneak a smoke in there or like sneak a vape, you know. But then it'd come out and it's like, yeah, this guy was just like went like psycho in the bathroom and was like breaking stuff and doing all this shit. So they had to like turn the plane around, and go all the way back.
Full on
So that kinda
Tasmanian
sucked.
devil. Nah, there's nothing worse than when somebody upsets your flight. Knock on wood, it hasn't happened where we had to like turn back around, but I couldn't imagine how frustrating it has to be to then waste 4 hours of your life just going into a U-turn on a plane.
Dude, what if that's like your honeymoon or some shit?
Ass.
You're flying from Atlanta
Yeah.
to Barcelona. You got like a cruise book.
We got like meals. We got like like vouchers for like the time in between to like go get food and shit. So that was
It's
kind
not
of cool.
enough.
Yeah, that ain't nothing
But-
if it's my honeymoon
they
and I
also-
missed a cruise
I
because of
think
this.
they also like gave us like some money, like some whatever. But
Also, thank God you don't have like a what's it called? a sympathetic shitter. You know how they have like sympathetic vomiters? So like if someone smells vomit, then it makes them throw up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Just
Like,
sort of a chain reaction.
everyone's like, well, if he's shitting on the floor, I'm going to shit on the floor. You know what I mean? Everyone starts shitting on the floor. And
There's some guys like, oh, I didn't realize that was allowed. I'm not waiting for that bathroom line.
Someone's old-fashioned poop party.
Someone's weird uncle that's already wasted is like, you know what? Fuck it. It just gets naked and shits all over the plane. You're like, well, this is interesting.
Is sympathetic shitters a thing?
But I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out. I don't know.
Heard of it.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Let me ask Google. It's like
Probably is. Could be. I'm kind of getting a little riled up right now. I'm not gonna lie. I could poop. Not
there's
in
a
my
toilet
pants.
right over there. You ain't pooping here.
You gotta wait a couple minutes.
Not in my pants. I'm just saying,
There's carpet
But
down here.
30,000 feet up in the air. Fuck it.
Well, I think that'll just about do it for us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Marlin for having us on. Do you have anything else you want to
Go
shout
Birds.
out? Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
Go Birds, baby.
Marlin will be at the Costco on Sunday, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
for sure.
Especially if it's raining, you know.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
You might be there.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, maybe. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube now. We're hopefully, I don't know when I'll get this one up because I'm leaving town tomorrow, but hopefully it'll be up soon. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace, go Birds.
See ya.